The midterm election has come and gone, and less than half of all the registered voters in Texas actually cast ballots last week. Just about 45.9%, or roughly 8.1 million voters. That's out of the more than 17.6 million Texans that are registered to vote, meaning roughly 9.6 million people did not vote at all. Now, this comes as a bit of a surprise to political observers. Here's Derek Ryan, founder of Ryan Data and Research, a strategic firm that helps Republican campaigns.
I think it caught a lot of people off guard. Earlier this summer, there was talk about turnout being higher than it was in 2018, but maybe not reaching the levels we see in a presidential race. And then once early voting got started, we noticed that the numbers were down.
Unfortunately, this is par for Texas elections. Take a look at this. The 2018 midterm was the first time in more than 2 decades that more than half of all the registered voters in the state actually voted. Before that, it hadn't happened since 1994, and even then, just 50.8% of registered voters cast ballots. You can see in 2014 and 2010, voter turnout didn't even hit 40%. Now, Ryan created a voter turnout heat map. The yellow on this map represents counties where turnout was less than 30%. The dark red, counties where 50% or higher turnout. Now, 100 of the 254 counties in Texas had turnout in this range, including all of the counties in our viewing area except Bastrop and Caldwell counties. In those counties and 112 others, turnout was between 40 and 49%.
Obviously, both candidates wanted to target specific areas of the state, and Republicans were focused on South Texas, and turnout in some of the South Texas counties was up significantly from what it was 4 years ago.
And what about Democrats? Were they able to get out the voters that they were hoping to get out this election?
Yeah, I don't think so. When you look at Beto O'Rourke's numbers from 2018, he got 4 million votes in his Senate race, and this go around he only ended up with 3.5 million votes.
So let's take a closer look at the map of O'Rourke's performance. It's here. This actually shows you how much his support decreased in his run for governor compared to his run for the U.S. Senate. So his support only increased in one county. That's Kaufman County. You can see it very dark on your screen. Everywhere else in Texas, fewer voters cast ballots for O'Rourke in 2022 than they did in 2018. Meanwhile, the heat map for Governor Greg Abbott's support, you can see by this dark red, is where he had the most support. The dark blue is where he had the least. And yes, that right there is Travis County, where he had less than 30% of the vote. But Ryan says Abbott saw more support compared to his 2018 gubernatorial run in 2022, increasing his voter percentages in more than 200 counties.
The big 5 counties, that include Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, San Antonio, Houston, those are typically, with the exception of Fort Worth, those are typically Democrat strongholds. So for Governor Abbott to win election, he needed to go after the suburban areas, which he ended up doing very well in, and he did even better in rural Texas.
Ryan says there was just a lack of enthusiasm among Democratic voters, maybe even some O'Rourke fatigue. We're going to keep talking about this because remember, voting really, really matters. Brian.